Hello, everybody. Oh, that was really loud. Sorry about that. We want to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for coming on probably the most beautiful night we've had all year so far. We really appreciate you being here. I'm Andrea White. I am one of the counselors here at the middle school, and this is
Amy Gitlin, the other school counselor at the middle school.
Heather Lloyd, career counselor. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time with you tonight. Some of you, this is your first kid going to high school. Some of you, you're all pros and probably can come up here and do this yourselves. But we're going to go over just some basic stuff that we feel like is important for every family to know as their kid makes this transition. It's a scary one, but it's a fun one, I can assure you. So kind of buckle up. You got a fun 4 years ahead of you. And without further ado, I guess we'll get started.
All right, so I'm going to kick us off and we're going to take a peek at today's agenda. So we're going to learn a little bit about next year's schedule, which you're going to learn even more about during your one-to-one scheduling appointments. You're going to learn about ways to continue being involved in high school so that you're continuing to be connected to your school community, just like we wanted you to be here at middle school. Learn what assistance there will be at high school. And at the end, we want you to feel free to ask questions that might arise during the presentation. All right, so skills that you'll need to be successful. Organizational skills. So up at the high school, you're going to be taking lots of different classes, and they're going to directly impact your academic success. So we want to make sure that you have those good organizational skills up at high school that hopefully we helped you develop here at middle school. Good attendance, as we've talked a lot about at middle school, that still is very important at the high school. As you know, seat time correlates to grades, right? So we want you to be in school as much as possible. And there's going to be daily robocalls, which means for any mod that's missed up at the high school, your parent and guardian will get a notification. Positive choices. So up at the high school, there's a lot more freedom, which means more opportunities to make independent choices. So we hope that you're going to make lots of positive choices, but something to be mindful of as we have more opportunities up at the high school. And then know when, how, and where to access help, which we will look at the next slide with our counselors. So here are your counselors up at the high school, and you will all be designated one counselor that you'll be assigned to when you go up to high school. So there's Demetri Modlow, Amanda Oakley, Heather Noy, and Mackenzie Dubois, who is the school social worker up at the high school. And then freshman seminar. So up at the high school, they identified the fact that there was a need. They wanted to make sure that they were supporting the transition for 8th graders coming into 9th grade. So they designed a course to support students in their transition and make sure that they were teaching those students those essential skills that we talked about in a previous slide for success. So there's going to be interactive activities, discussions, and reflections to develop necessary tools to navigate the high school environment to ensure that you feel both supported and you learn those skills to be successful. And so that'll be a half-year course, and it'll be opposite health. And we can talk a little bit more about that, like I said, in those individual scheduling appointments. Okay, I'm going to spend just a few minutes kind of giving you an overview of the basics of what you need to graduate. So for a New York State diploma, you need a minimum of 22 units of credit. You need to have passing grades in all the required classes, and you need to get passing grades on all required Regents exams. And we'll go through what the Regents exams are in a second. So a unit of credit is based on passing a full year class that meets each day. And then there's some classes that are half credits, and those will be classes like PE that meets every other day, or a class that meets just for half of the year every day. The required courses for everybody is you're going to need to take 4 years of ELA, 4 years of social studies, 3 years minimum of science,
3 years of world language, except, well, 3 years of world language if you want to get an advanced designation diploma, but only 1 year if not. You're going to need an art and music credit, half a health credit, 2 PE credits. PE, you need 2 because they get earned in the half credit, so you're going to take PE all 4 years, half credit per year. Foundations of Finance, and then 3 elective classes at minimum, and that adds up to 22. You'll see that next year, you're not going to have a ton of choice in what your schedule looks like. It's kind of jam-packed and predetermined, but as you get into like 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, you have, it widens up a little bit. And we're going to be talking about pathways in a minute, and you'll have the opportunity to look at what classes you might want to fill in some of those electives with. So for Regents exams, there's 2 different types of diplomas. There's a regular Regents diploma and an advanced designation diploma. And this is how it breaks down for each. So for a Regents diploma, you need 1 ELA, 1 global, 1 US history, 1 math, and 1 science. And then it's not listed here, but we already talked about you need 1 year of world language. And then for the advanced designation, you need 1 ELA, 1 global, 1 US, 3 math, and 2 science. Okay, so that's the differences mainly in the world language and the math and science. This year, as all of you are aware, everybody had to take algebra, and that's a new thing for the middle school. So we just kind of wanted to take a second to explain how that might work itself out. As of right now, this is the way it's looking. So if a student passes the algebra Regents, you're either going to move on to intro to geometry or geometry. If a student doesn't pass the Regents, you can take geometry plus have an algebra lab during the year and then take the Regents again either in January or June. Or you can take summer school and retake the Regents in August. Or if you don't pass the Regents, or you pass the Regents but don't pass the class, students are required to do credit recovery. And we have some students working on that already. If you know if you're doing it, because we've communicated with families. And if you have any specific questions about any of that, when we do our individual meetings or after tonight, or actually just raise your hand at the end of it and ask. We're happy to help you out.
Thank you. So we talked a lot about making positive choices, thinking about courses, electives, and all of that. Being in this math class, students are already starting their academic transcript. So no matter what your future pathway is, your transcript is starting. So that's why we really have those conversations at the high school. Seniors right now, it's scholarship season. We are looking, every senior who's planning on going to college, even workforce, there's a lot of scholarships out there, and a big piece of that is your academic transcript, is the involvement that you have outside of the classroom. So that's why we're having a lot of those conversations now, and we really want to make sure you know what's offered to you. So talking about our pathways, we have 10 different pathways at the high school. Students who are in the audience, I know, we just went over these, so that parents, guardians, they should be able to go home and tell you about each of these pathways, because we took quite a bit of time over the last few weeks and kind of dove into each one. We want them to understand what opportunities lie. We want students to explore any and every area of interest that they have. So during those one-on-one meetings that we have, we will have each student identify what pathway, and then also if they have a specific career area of interest. And we put that in School Tool. So that helps us identify, what area are you interested in exploring. That can change 100 times. That's totally fine. Our goal is just for you to have a plan, explore some of that plan, and then see where it goes. We also pull those reports. So last week we had a lineman come into our high school. So I was able to pull reports from School Tool. Any student who identified a pathway or area of interest that was related to what might be interested in being a lineman, they were invited to that career talk. So that's kind of how we use that information and why we really take some time exploring these. So our ag pathway students, I know we went over all of this. It has boomed. I will kind of go through some highlights from each pathway as well. But we have the land lab. So that land lab, students who take intro to ag actually are working and getting paid over the summer. So if that's an area of interest, it's something that you get involved in freshman year. And like Mrs. White said, there's not a ton of extra room in your schedule freshman year, but intro to ag is usually one that we absolutely can fit. Biomed science, that's you're going to be learning how to draw blood. You're going to be going to UHS Sim Lab. So each of these pathways have different courses that are aligned within them. So kind of going through, each pathway also has an experience tied to it. So that biomed class, they're going to the UHS Sim Lab. The business and finance, they're going to go to Vision Federal Credit Union. Construction trades are going out. Computer science, education. So education pathway, something new this year that we have is a youth apprenticeship program. So our students who are in the education pathway are actually down here at our elementary schools getting paid to work in the classroom. So we're able to work with their schedules, make sure they have a good chunk of time to really get that classroom experience. So something too is we are constantly evolving and growing. We're having students identify their pathway and their careers of interest. And then if we don't have courses to help support them, we create those courses. So for example, next year we have a trades math course. We have a ton of students who are interested in the trades. So we thought, how do we support them best to help them get ready for the workforce after high school? We developed a trades math course. So that will be something new that's offered to our students next year. These courses that are in the red here are newly offered this semester. So kitchen chemistry follows farm to fork. Students who are interested in cooking, they use stuff from the land lab. I was just a judge in one of their cooking competitions, and so they learn how to put different products together, how to present it. And so kitchen chemistry is the second half of that course. And they're all work science credits. Battery technology and design. This industry is booming, so we saw a local need. That's going to be a lot of jobs that could have fulfillment. And now we have a course designed around that to give our students some experience and some exposure. Just some highlights, and I know I talked about them, some of these, but ag in the classroom. We also have a new vet track, so we have a lot of students who are interested in vet science. So we have a vet track that follows you freshman all the way through your senior year. Different coding classes. We have over 40 college level courses. So we have a student who we are just looking for senior transcripts and is leaving high school with 50 college credits. So that is huge. I actually think it could be 55 depending on the AP scores. We just did the math. So that's a year of college. So a lot of our students have the ability to push themselves, and that's what we want you to do. We want you to take courses to push yourself to get some college credits if that's what you're planning to do. Art Suite is brand new. It just turned a year old, so anyone interested in arts, it's absolutely beautiful. A lot of opportunity in there for students to explore. Our sound recording studio, that's only a few years old. And there's two pieces to that, right? There's the sound recording studio where you can actually record songs. And then there's the back end piece where the music production piece that we have courses centered around too. So the last 2 years we've had students actually release original songs on Spotify. So really cool, a good class. If you're interested in music, we've had students who had never played an instrument until they came to the high school, and now they're on Spotify. A good class for that is basic rock instruments. That's a course that freshmen can take. Again, we'll go through this one-on-one. We really sit down and make sure what you're interested in, we explore and help you prepare for. High school advisory, so it's different than the middle school. We have advisory during the middle of the day, and it's really aimed at intervention support. So if you went to math class and there was a concept that you were like, oh, I struggled on that, you can go work with your math teacher in advisory. Or if you have work that you need to do, you can do that in advisory. So advisory is really about connecting with teachers, offering that support to help you have that academic success, even if you don't have a study hall in your schedule. We also run groups in advisory. So, social emotional groups, any group that we see a need for, we will run those through advisory as well. Different enrichment opportunities. I know we talked about all the college courses that you can take. The music program there's after school clubs. You could be a part of the court, which all of our students here know. Has anyone gone to the court show? Some, okay. Our students know Upwood Life Day. We end Upwood Life Day with our high school students who put on a concert. So they also perform for the community during court show, usually in the fall and in the spring. Job shadow opportunities. So we have students who connected to a course who have an experience within the industry. And then beyond that, students schedule job shadow opportunities through me as well. We have a Visions Federal Credit Union right in our high school. So if you walk into our high school, it's a credit union that teachers, students, anyone, community members can use, and our students run, work that, and get paid for that during the school day. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to explore an area of interest and also get paid. CTE programs at BOCES. So we have students who I know just coming into the 8th grade classrooms now say, I know I want to go to BOCES, which is awesome. But we have a lot of courses for you to explore at our high school prior to that, and that's junior year. So what else do you want to explore? Welding can start freshman year for us. Power mechanics, you can learn small engine repair. Those things can start right away. So we talked about involvement, right? Your transcript, you've started your academic transcript already. That's carrying through with you, whether you go military, college, or right into the career. Anyone's going to ask you for your academic transcript. They're going to want to see that. Any course you take is on there, and the final grade that you get is on there. Outside of that, involvement is huge. Cannot stress this enough. Every year, scholarships want to know, what have you done outside the classroom? We want to see that you're a great student, but what else have you done? So it doesn't mean you need to see all of these clubs and get involved in everything, but it means choose some, right? Or create one. You always can create a club at the high school as long as you get an advisor. And then really be a part of it. Really put yourself into it, get friends to be a part of it. So here's just some opportunities, but really want to stress the fact of, and try something new, try something different, or ask about it. So want to make sure students get involved right away. And then athletics. So we'll go through this. Our goal when we sit down with every student is to have you circle a couple of clubs that you're interested in. Freshman orientation, when you come, you'll get your schedule, you'll be able to walk it, and we'll again talk about all the different clubs and opportunities that we have.
All right, so I know we threw a lot at you tonight, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with you during our one-to-one scheduling meetings, which will take place on the 20th, the 21st, 24th, 25th, and 26th. You should have all received a mailing and an email with your specific appointment time, but if for whatever reason you need to double check that, you can ask us up here afterwards, and you can email that to you tomorrow, or you can call our main office, and Darlene Colwell will be able to confirm that for you as well. And then, thank you all for being here. I think I mentioned it, but we will all stick around for just a little bit if any questions arose during the presentation that you would like to ask us. But thank you again for all being here, and we look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
Thank you.